So this is day 2 of our session, spring session. Spring is in the air. We had lots of rain yesterday. We sat with lots of rain in the yurt. Not in the yurt, but in the yurt we heard a lot of rain, and so it made me think of a koan that's kind of appropriate. I think it's a nice way to think about what we're doing here. Why are we putting ourselves through this? Anyone who does session knows it's not fun. And in fact, I remember Ari saying last time, as soon as I got here, I wanted to leave, or something like that. And I think we all feel that way. Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought we could kind of look at this koan and go line by line together and see if anything inspiring or insightful comes up. So this is case 46 of the Blue Cliff Record. It's called The Sound of Raindrops. See why I thought it was appropriate. Kyosho asked a monk, "What is that sound outside?" The monk said, "The sound of raindrops." Kyosho said, "Ordinary people are upside down, losing themselves in pursuit of things." The monk said, "What about you?" Kyosho said, "Getting to not losing self." The monk said, "What is the meaning of getting to not losing self?" Kyosho said, "Emerging can be relatively easy. Total expression must be hard." So, going line by line. So Kyosho is the teacher in this situation. A lot of these koans, they're a record of various interactions between teachers and students. Sometimes the teacher has an awakening moment. Sometimes the student has an awakening moment. Sometimes neither of them do. And the point is that these koans are alive for us today. And I've gone through all these koans, and I still come back to them and just am completely baffled. Completely just, they're just this gaping hole of mystery, even after passing them, even after getting them. And isn't that kind of just like our life, right? Every time we think we have the answer to something, every time we think we have our finger on how something's supposed to go, or how something works for me, or how something works for my relationship with somebody, we find out we're wrong. At least that's been my experience. Why? Because of impermanence. So, Kyosho, the teacher, asked a monk. We can assume maybe they're in an interview or maybe they're just hanging out, but the two of them are together, and he says, "What is that sound outside?" So, yeah, right, I think we all here know, we all do koans here, right? So we all know that these questions are usually more prying than what it would seem at face value. So I think we can assume that this question is, what is your life? What's going on out there? What's important about life? Who are you? I don't know. And in the commentary, or yeah, in a Dharma talk I read, I guess Kyosho is famous for saying that to like everybody. What does that sound like? That was his main poking question. What is that sound outside? It's good, right? Because if we're going to talk about oneness, being one with everything, then how can there be some separate sound in some other separate place? So that's his Zen question. And the monk answers, the sound of raindrops. And is that a good answer? Once you do a bunch of koans, you realize that sometimes that's like the best answer. Just simple, not thinking about it, not trying to be like, oh, it's me because we're all one, right? That's kind of intellectual, that's kind of in our head. So maybe that's the best answer. Mariachi music, next door, just what is. And just like anything else, having the right answer to a koan, to a teacher's prying question, to whether or not I stay in a relationship, to whether or not I join such and such organization, to whether or not I pull the plug on mom. We don't know. We don't know. That's why I do session, to really cultivate intimacy with not knowing and approaching every situation open for the answer to reveal itself. So is that a good answer? I don't know. Maybe it is. Kyosho responds, ordinary people are upside down, losing themselves in pursuit of things. He's just such a I mean, all these koans, they're just amazing because every word is an opportunity to be like, is that good? Is that bad? Is that what I think it means? Is that what I not think it means? Is that what it's not, what I not don't think what it means? And that's what they're designed to do, right? So ordinary people. Sometimes ordinary people is used to talk about deluded people, right? And those of us who take this time to do session, take the time to meditate, take the time to look outside of what's prescribed for us and go deeper, we're not so ordinary, right? That's true. This is not an ordinary thing to do, session. It could be, maybe one day. Everybody doing intensive meditation retreats, that'd be interesting. But I think, on the whole, I think there's only like 1 billion Buddhists on Earth. I think something like that, even if there are 1 billion Buddhists on Earth, and even if all of those Buddhists do retreats, that's still only 1/7 of the world. That's still pretty extraordinary, not ordinary. So yeah, in that way, those of us who seek deeply, who really want to know what that sound is outside, we're not ordinary. And we have to deal with that, right? We have to deal with our friends and family making fun of us. We have to deal with our jobs not understanding that we are dedicated to this. It's not ordinary. For better or worse, I don't know. But on the other hand, ordinary is also used as like an extreme compliment for enlightened people, right? Like we've been talking about Layman Pang. We've been going over a few of his teachings. And one of his most famous quotes was like, everything I do is completely ordinary. Enlightenment is simply something. Enlightenment is, or the way is, or whatever, just chopping wood and carrying water, right? Just completely ordinary. And as you sit and as you kind of go deeper and deeper into our lineage's way, and if you do the koans and if you develop a relationship with a teacher, you really do dig deeper and deeper and deeper into absolute ordinariness. There's nothing special. So why the hell would I leave my work and my people and my bed and everything to come put myself through this really intensive practice? Well, maybe true ordinariness is incredibly liberating. And maybe it really helps my efforts to help people. I kind of resonate with that. You know, for the longest time as a younger person, I was trying to be a pop star. I was trying to be in the music industry, and I was in that world. And the whole like basic motivation of everyone in that world, in that industry, in my life, my friends, everyone, was that we're all special. We're all stars. And to be ordinary was just like poison. And, you know, that was always kind of a difficult point of practice for me as I would, you know, do my Zen and come for session and work on the koans. I had, you know, kind of things pulling at me. You need to be a star, you need to be ordinary. And of course, to think that stars are not ordinary is already wrong, right? So it's kind of a false dichotomy there. But yeah, to strive to be truly ordinary, really ordinary, like really ordinary. That hole is way deeper than I thought it ever would be. The depths to which my ego, myself, my mind really, really wants to think that I'm something special, or that I somehow exist outside or above or beyond or something more than just ordinary. But as I, little by little, inch my way towards complete ordinariness, I really do feel the peace and the connection, a deeper connection. There's, I don't know, there's just no doubt about it for me. The more I embrace ordinariness, the deeper I connect with myself, with others, with nature, with time, lineage, ancestors. So yeah, striving for complete ordinariness. So he says, ordinary people are upside down. Upside down, not right, twisted, messed up. If you try to use things upside down, if I tried to read this book upside down, it wouldn't work. Try to do things upside down, it doesn't work. So what's he saying? Or is he saying that ordinary people, not enlightened people, those other folks are upside down? Or is he pointing to this universal ordinariness, passionate ordinariness? All of us, just completely ordinary. And of course we're upside down. We think we're people in the world, that's already upside down. We think there is a world, that's already upside down. It's like the Buddha said, he said, all beings are the wisdom and compassion of the Tathagata, but they don't see it because of upside down thinking. All of us, Buddha himself, we're all upside down. I think that's what he's saying. I don't think he's pointing to like those folks over there, they don't get it. I think he's saying all of us. We're all upside down, losing themselves in pursuit of things. So here's another one. Losing themselves, right? For those of us Zennies, we know that that's like a good thing, right? That's what we want to be doing. That's the whole point of this practice, losing the self, letting go of the self, having the experience of the self drop off. Personal face-to-face confrontation with the fact that there is no self and there never was to begin with. And at the same time, we know losing oneself can mean like getting lost in delusion, being centered, being unfocused, not being present in the moment. I'm getting lost, I'm getting stuck. That's a bad thing. So what does he mean? Right? And again, it's interesting how translations play such a huge part in this koan study and the Buddhist stuff, because I was reading some other translations and they don't use this language. I don't think they said losing themselves. I think it said something more along the lines of getting lost or something like that. But that too, we want to get lost. That's not knowing. And it's also not present. So what's he talking about here? Losing themselves in pursuit of things. Does that mean they're losing their sense of true self? Losing their Buddha nature in pursuit of fame and money and love and sex and all of the shiny things that Mara puts in front of us? Or is he saying all people, all of us, ordinary meat sacks, we pursue the way, we pursue Buddha nature, and in so doing, lose this concept of self? I don't know. I think he's just offering these things, right? So many of these teachings, we say to let go and not attach to any of these teachings. It's just so important because they're really just offerings to look at. What is it to be ordinary? When am I upside down? I was just thinking about the koan, Nansen kills a cat, which is also in the Muman Kan, the gateless gate. And at the end of it, Joshu puts his shoes on his head as like an expression of complete freedom, free expression. Be upside down. Let go of what you think is right. So in that case, upside down is like the good thing. Upside down is the enlightened activity. So yeah, upside down can mean, if I'm not famous and I'm not rich, then I've totally failed. That's super upside down. But also, I've always done it this way, I'm going to let go and try it the upside down way. Sometimes that's brilliant and liberating and changes everything and fixes everything and helps people. Similarly, losing myself and pursuing things. These are just offerings. When do I lose my sense of true self? When do I lose my small self? What does that mean to lose it? Pursuing things. When is pursuing things hurting me? And when is pursuit the best thing? Sesshin is nothing but pursuit. We're making this really, really concerted effort to do this very difficult thing, and we're paying to do it. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And so the only people that are going to do that, pay and weed your garden and go through physical pain and be told I'm wrong on the koans and not get a lot of sleep and we're only gonna do that if we have a deep, deep desire to pursue the way, to pursue oneness, to pursue the potential of my wisdom and compassion. So that's not very ordinary. And I'm very grateful for everyone who does that with me, and I hope you feel supported by us doing it with you. And that makes me think about Sangha. I know it's like totally changing course here, but it just kind of came up. Sangha, the love and the connection of Sangha has always been a mystery to me because so many of us don't know each other. We really don't spend much time together outside of silent sitting, especially in an urban temple where we don't live together. And yet somehow there's this bond, there's this connection. Just Shikhan was here for 40 hours and left, and I maybe said 15 words to him. Otherwise, we were just sitting here silent, but there's something about that pursuit. There's something, he could be the most giant asshole, and we could have nothing in common. But when he left, I was just totally automatically, without thinking, drawn to hug him and feel grateful for him, right? And it's like, it's not him. It's the thousands of years of people in pursuit. And everyone who comes here, we can presume, has some kind of pursuit. Even our Zoom people who just want to sit and don't want to listen to talks and don't want to see teachers and don't want to do this or that, they're still coming to sit. And there's something about that, the unordinariness of that pursuit, which is so connecting. Anyway, so he says these things. Ordinary people are upside down, losing themselves in pursuit of things. And then the monk responds, well, what about you? I guess that's a nice expression, right? So he offers all these things, because the monk could have said like, oh, well, that's not me. I'm not ordinary. I'm not upside down. I'm not pursuing fame. And he doesn't say, yes, that's right. That's me. I know. I am ordinary, and I do not knowing, and I have lost myself, and I am in pursuit of this. He just says, cool, what's your deal? What's that sound outside? Kyosho says, getting to not losing self. That's super twisted, right? Because we think of this pursuit as like slowly getting to losing self. That's the whole point, right? But he says getting to not losing self. And to really see what he's saying is a very important pursuit. And the monk says, what is the meaning of getting to not losing self? Here's where he slips a little bit. What do you mean? Tell me what that is. Well, I guess it's all right. And Kyosho says, emerging can be relatively easy. Total expression must be hard. So this getting to not losing self, the best way I can think of it is Dogen's famous line in the story of his enlightenment. He's famous for saying, dropping off, dropping off. So even losing self, lose that. Stop doing that. The minute you think you have something, it's gone. It's like trying to hold smoke in your hand. It's like trying to chase a shadow. All of these pretty metaphors we have. Um, getting to not losing self, right? That getting to implies that there's somewhere to get to. But that's the kind of twist in this sentence here, right? Like the commentary, they say some funny things. Commenting on getting to not losing self, Hakuin says, whoops, almost got lost there. And then Tenkei says, close, make sure not to slip. There are many misinterpretations of this point. Almost there, I'm getting to no self. Wrong, already wrong. To truly experience no self, you have to get to not losing self. Let go of letting go. All these ways to say it. But really, the best expression of that is what he says here. So emerging can be relatively easy. And I love how, I think it's Tenkei talks about this emerging. It is easy to relinquish everything, sound and form, right and wrong, to realize an untrammeled state of personal freedom. Yeah, so he takes all these teachings, all these things that we're trying to do, and says, yeah, that part's easy. And it is. It totally is. You know, because that's what we are. That's what already is. You don't have to get anything special. It's completely ordinary. Relinquishing everything. There never was anything. Sound and form. All delusion, right and wrong, complete conditioning. So yeah, to see emptiness, to have that moment of, that's right, it's all empty. It's easy. I think everybody has that experience. Whether they've meditated or not. I really do think that that's just really who we are. And so everybody, the Christian Marine, the 8-year-old, whatever, we all get these little, whether we know it or not is a different thing, and that's why we're here doing Buddhism, so that we really get intimate with it. But to have an experience where everything drops off and we just see what actually is, relinquishing everything, that's easy. I think everyone gets that. But why we keep coming back over and over and over again, these old Zen masters who've done 500 sessions and sitting for decades and decades and decades, keep coming back with that passionate pursuit. Not to emerge, not to have that experience of oneness, but to see what it is to completely express in our life. Total expression must be hard. He doesn't say is hard, he says must be hard. I love that. Why? Why must it be hard? It's almost as if he's saying, like, by definition, it has to be hard. Because any expression is already wrong. Any idea of what it is, completely wrong. That sound outside, if you think it's a basketball, it's wrong. Those are words, it's an idea. How do you completely express what it actually is? How do I totally express, without any idea of it, my enlightenment? That's our question for when we're on the cushion. And that's, hopefully what these koans help us get to. And that's why we keep doing this. And that's why I'm so grateful for everyone who's doing it with me. And I really hope that we can get to not getting there together. So, yeah, bring that passion to the rest of this week. And whatever it is you think you're striving towards, see what happens if you just completely let go of that and just be the sound outside.